And then let's pop out Twitch chat. Not Twitch chat. Let's pop out TikTok chat. Hello, TikTok. And then what is my... Of course we're having technical difficulties on the one day I show up on time. Okay, there we go. Excellent. Oh my god, it's straight Maldhound. Straight Maldhound, what happened? Turn off so I can finish watching the video with comedian PB and Swelly. It's too goddamn bad. You have to watch the new stream, then you have to watch the old VOD, then you have to watch the hypercut of the me and Ian stream. And then at long last, I will let you rest. What's happening, Wolf Slays? Hello, Anton. Welcome to the YouTube stream. Thank you for coming. So we have at least one person who we need to get into the action relatively quickly. They, I can't remember their handle, so I don't want to drop their real name. But I believe they said they originally thought they had dinner plans. Now they have lunch plans. So they need to be done and out of here by 2 p.m. And presumably... presumably like ready to get dressed and everything. Labrador, congrats on that new job. I'm also very glad you're out of unemployment. All right, how long is too long, Starry-Eyed? Because we can probably put you second. DMC, thank you for the 100-bit cheer. Maldhound is like the flagpole that we hang the pride flag on, straight but supportive as hell. That's goddamn right, DMC. Caranios, based on their last two stream titles, Gay Maldhound is 3-3 Elk, who we may or may not raid today. I don't know if they're going to stream today. What's up, Sodacan? And hello, Zach. And hello, Highway. I'm doing okay today. I was doing some stuff in the gym to try to help my shoulder. I have neck problems, and the person I was seeing yesterday was like, they were feeling around in there, and they went, something is deeply wrong with how these joints work. Something is deeply and fundamentally wrong, and I feel very bad for you. And I don't want to say healing is impossible, which that's a terrible fucking statement to hear from somebody who's supposed to make a physical problem better. I don't want to say it's totally impossible for you to ever get better. And then they said, but it's going to be a long road. So I was doing some stuff in the gym today to try to help my shoulders relax and open up a little bit more. So I'm doing okay. Anton, thank you for jumping over to Twitch. I appreciate you very much, my friend. We got to hit the manual ad break. And then we're going to get into the roastings for today. So I think the order right now, because Starry-Eyed also has to go. Cannon, you're here. Perfect. We're going to hit the manual ad break, and then we're going to launch Cannon straight out of a fucking cannon because they have lunch plans. So, Twitch, I will see you all in just 3 minutes. How's the Herman Miller chair doing? It's definitely better than the previous chair. Like, it's assuredly better than every other office chair I've ever sat in. I think because my problems are from rowing at a high and difficult level for so long, my problems go well beyond just having a supportive office chair. But this is good. It is, I think, overall a good thing. And when the sting of having spent so much money on it fades away, I will feel very positive about it. Invacuate, thank you for the Prime sub. Welcome to the doghouse, my friend. Terrence, we're kind of winning. We're kind of winning. So the people we're on the lookout for today: Literal Cannon, who we've seen; Starry Eyes, who we've seen; BM Shooter, who we've just seen; the PETA Dude, who I don't think I've seen yet; and Shaper, who I also am not positive I have seen yet. To my knowledge, none of these people need a reschedule. And to circle back on PETA Dude's here, perfect. And to circle back on an earlier question, are we ever going to return to playing Arena with viewers? Yes. Maybe even this week. I'm thinking about doing it Friday. I did a Final Fantasy pre-release yesterday, and I regret to inform you all, the set cooks. I'm a hater. It is it's a cash grab. I'm not sure if I can call it a soulless one because they cooked the hell out of this set, you guys. And so I do want to get back onto MTG Arena at minimum to draft this set. I got kicked out of drafting on Arena after Bloomborough. It made me incredibly sad. And now I'm back in. So there's going to be more Arena streams. There's probably going to be at least a couple Brawl streams. Yeah, like it's a cash grab, but everybody involved loves at least most of the properties. DMC, thank you for the 100-bit cheer. I'm officially relaunching my Twitch channel this Friday by doing a goofy PowerPoint presentation in the name of convincing a bunch of other streamers who know nothing about Magic to start playing Magic. How would you convince new people to play Magic without mentioning any rules? Wow, okay, give me a moment to grapple with I love you and support you, and I disagree heavily with this. And so let me just figure out in my body how to make those two waves meet without creating a tsunami. Specifically, how would I convince new people to play Magic without mentioning rules? I think a lot of it would just be leaning into the well, DMC, not a serious attempt. Are we talking about the convincing part here? But I would lean on the political stuff, because there's a lot of, like, you could have gotcha moments with your friends in Magic that you don't get to have literally anywhere else, because we're not all lawyers. So we don't get to walk around tricking each other with wordplay. We don't get to walk around, like, catching each other being bad at math. Like, those are the moments. Those are the moments that you play casual Commander for, where you're not hyper worried about the rules. It's like, oh, look at you not reading the card, dipshit. Hi-ho, I did not wear one of Z's hats, but Z came with me to pre-release and wore one of their hats. Trash can actual, I don't fucking know, dog. But yeah, DMC, that's what I would lean on, is I would just, like, think about every, oh, Z's here. Everybody say hi to my lovely girlfriend. Which I guess canonically I'm not totally straight because Z's non-binary. So we're a little, but this is mostly to foil Elk's gay Maldhound title. Anyway, so I would think of every Commander skit you have seen on the internet, and how would I describe that situation? How would I describe that situation if I was doing whiteout on the specific rules interactions? Here, hold on. Let's be accurate. There we go. Boss, you need to update the roast comment. It's been like a month. Well, now I'm not doing it. Well, now I am not doing it. +1, thank you very much. Also, Satoru, thank you for the Prime sub, my friend. Welcome to the dog home. I appreciate that generosity. Okay. We had a drink water redeem. Ungodly one. It's okay admitting that you are not funny enough to update it. Haha. Charles, listen. There's a lot of things I'm not funny enough to do. We're talking about a Streamlabs command about a Ko-Fi link, my dog. Right now I'm being lazy and a little bit bitchy. But the command in question is not comedic. My brother in Christ, the command in question is click the link and pay here. What was the context of the raid copy pasta yesterday, Mald? I think the context was, so we were streaming with Comedian, and the Wandering Minstrel is a commander from Final Fantasy. A couple people have been talking about like, oh shit, this could be CEDH, and I thought those people were smoking crack, and Comedian said, no, it's very real. So that was the context of the raid message. EVBot, thank you for the Prime sub. Welcome to the dog home, my friend. Dale, thank you for the $5 super chat. Hi, boss. Just watched the decked out vid where the Moogles got blown up and you proceeded to use a ton of control to win the game. Pure cinema. That's what fucking happens if you fuck with my Moogles. Cosmic, do not. So, this is not even my opinion, Cosmic. Comedian, world's best CEDH player, also talked about that. It is bad. It is bad. There are a ton of good permanents you are cutting out of your deck to do Lurrus Companion, and you do not get enough from it. And then we got a personal question from Wolf. Other than Vivi, who is your favorite commander you would want to build from this set? So it's hard because a lot of the stuff I want to build from this set is not appropriate in casual, which is where I play a lot of my Magic. There are two very high power decks, like Bracket 4 and or CEDH, that I would want to build, and those two is Emmet Selk of the third seat. Being able to double dip all your instants and sorceries can make control pretty tight. And then the other is Z and I both want to play Kefka CEDH. This is another tip from Comedian. Comedian says this is better than Vivi, because a lot of people are underrating how good Enters or Attacks is. This card, they spoiled it and everybody went, oh, well, you'll play it, we'll all have to discard one, you'll draw some cards, we will go on with our day, it won't be a big deal. They rated that trigger correctly and then proceeded to sleep on every successive trigger. Worse Bolas! It's happening in real time. It's happening in real time. So this is just on ETB. A notable difference is Nicol Bolas, if you want to do hand control, you have to flicker him. You have to like build around, how do I pop this guy in? Kefka, you can have a 99 of just good Grixis cards. You don't have to build around this dude at all. You play him, refill your hand, fuck everybody else up a little bit. If they try to remove him, you probably have the interaction to save him. And if they don't remove him, once you swing, like there might be one person who is on the moon with Rhystic Study and has so many cards that they don't get fucked by this. But by the second trigger, the third trigger, God forbid you survive to get a fourth trigger, you have blown at least one person, probably two people, out of the game. Blown out of the game. That is the full sentence. Is it possible to do it turn one? I genuinely don't know if you can fix the pips. I think it is possible. I don't think you would ever want to. No flying though? That doesn't fucking matter. You've identified the niche situation where Kefka is worse in a world of like when everybody else is playing like low bracket 2 green stompy, baby. Why are we making the eyes? In like hyper low power and Grixis isn't allowed to play any of their good cards, then this guy starts to become soft again. But like a 4-5 in high power, you might not even deal combat damage, but like 5 toughness is not getting killed because they attacked in many games. I don't know the exact rulings about how Illusionist Bracers would work with it because I've only worried about cards you should play with him. Badgers, I think you would be surprised. Because, like, when Noda's dead, a lot of Thrasios lists are using creatures again. They're doing Gaia's Cradle shit. They're comboing off with the creatures. It's not like, oh, hey, we're not building an arm. Yeah. They're not killing a 4/5 for sure. Like, in CEDH, Kefka's never dying because they went to combat. What's your take on Hope Estheim? We gotta do better. How much is a sudden deck roast I can send in my Kefka list? EVBot, it's $500 to make me roast your deck on demand, or $694.20 if you want Z and I to roast it together. Do you think Vivi would fit into Blue Farm? I don't really think so. I think Vivi is just its own deck most of the time. I do hate birds. Choco. Nah, fuck Choco. I mean, I don't want to build Choco. We made Z a Choco list that they love very much and is like fucked up and evil bracket 3 behavior, but I don't want to build it. Also, Cyborg, thank you for the 8th month in a row with Prime. That's because I enjoyed building the machine. I enjoyed that how like simple it was to execute the Choco strategy. The people want to know which Final Fantasy commanders the definition of they got that shit on. Literally too many. Literally too many. And then, personal question, the last one I'll take prior to Cannon's roast. What's one game skill not related to Magic you wish Magic players would finally learn? Fucking counting, dog. Genuinely, I think most of the times I've gotten really cheesed about threat assessment going wrong or people making like super bad decisions is they just straight up counted wrong. Like I've lost a game. I have lost a game to Triskai Decaphile because I was going to pass the turn. I was like, I'll deal with this permanent. One of you can deal with the Triskai Decaphile, right? Because they're going to win if you don't. Like, they're going to win on their upkeep. And somebody was like, I got it. I passed to them. They don't fucking deal with it. They just develop their own board state more. And they go to pass. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? You said you got it. And they were like, oh yeah, I got it on my next turn. We have a turn until they're going to draw this card. And then the Triskaidekaphile player tapped mana to draw an extra card when they went to pass and won the game. So basic math, not even a game skill, just like basic, I guess object permanence, like the knowledge that mana can become abilities. That's the type of skill that I would love to learn. See, but Revan, I told them when I passed my turn, I told them the ability they were going to use. And they got so focused on playing some like dumb mono green stompy creature and putting counters on it that they were like, oh, I forgot about that. Oh, the other player. Yeah. Anyway, it's just... Yeah. Palmburger, it is Houndmauled. So anyway, to close the loop on my baby's comment, I did have fun building Choco. I don't want to play Choco ever. Jake Jankowski, thank you for the $2. Do you think Celis is good in CEDH? I've been liking. So I'm not going to rely on my own authority here. I'm going to rely on Comedian, who I got to talk to yesterday. No. It has more tools than other Mardu commanders. Mardu in CEDH is really bad right now. If you're playing Mardu in CEDH, you are making an active decision to play worse magic, which is kind of against the idea of CEDH. And so you can try to make it work. Glorious Mr. E, why aren't you freaking out over the new VV boss? Because we already did. Excuse me, I would like to argue that Mardu Mami is good and people have no balls and can't jam. I mean, you are wrong, but shout out my guy. No, we did like weeks ago. Dolphin Bid here, did you not listen to the part where I said I'm going off of what Comedian, the world's best or second best CEDH player, said about this to me yesterday? Were our earballs open for that part of the sentence? Yeah, don't listen to... So do we not care about win rates? How are you defining the best, Dolphin? Whoever you clap for the most on Discord? Okay, buddy. Have a perfectly fine day. Go, listen. I trust you. Go win a tournament with it right now. I believe you. But anyway, so this is better than other Mardu commanders. Mardu is not having a good time compared to other color combinations in CEDH. I mean, yeah, I can win an individual tournament, but we're not like... Here. We've got a good conversion rate here. And after that, you're like, what's this? 14, here, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. You have 2 spots in the top 16. If we look at the top... Oh my god. Dog, no, I'm not wasting time talking about this with you. I truly do not care enough. Like, is it possible to win? Yes. This is worse than most other choices. No, dude's just coping that, like, CEDH has a lot of people that are super fans of individual players, and if their favorite player plays anything and does well, they're like, this shit is hot, and anybody who disagrees with me doesn't understand, is not matrixed enough into the data. When will we be on Whatnot again? Probably not ever. The payoff of doing Whatnot events is very, very low. There's like just... It can be a little bit fun, but it's a lot more work for a lot less pay than basically anything else. Oh yeah, Defcat local local Yisan Coper. Like Yisan could presumably Yisan could win an event and it's still a bad fucking decision. Bro is not out here like, oh, I know everything because I spoke to one good player. A person asked me for an opinion and I said, I'm not going to rely on mine. I'm going to rely on the opinion of a good player. All right. So if you've not been to one of these streams before, the way it's going to work is my supporters send in, actually $69 now, a deck list, a primer, and a power rating. We do not accept 1 through 10 because it is wrong and bad. I will work within the WotC bracket system if you wish, but for the most part we work with silly to spooky to scary. This is a rating system originally developed by Danny Phantom EXE. It is a measure of how ominous your deck's turns are to somebody that knows Magic the Gathering and has been paying attention to what you are doing. Silly decks, everything you're doing is kind of dumb. You might win someday. Spooky decks, okay, you're assembling pieces, and if you get enough of these pieces, something big's gonna happen. Scary decks is, I am always slamming down half of a 2-card combo. I am always slamming down an incredibly big value piece like Rhystic Study, like Smothering Tithe, etc., etc. And first up today, we have hypothetical cannon. This is spooky, comma, scary. It's an aristocrats / mono black value deck. It aims to recur the commander consistently to keep the board clear until winning eventually. I asked some players at my LGS about it, having played it for most weeks there for the last 8 months. They told me I was already running half of a few aristocrat infinites and to add the respective other halves. Current biggest problems I see in play are falling apart against non-creature decks and having games where it's clear I'll win in 3 to 5 business days. One of my friends likes to describe my deck building as cruel and unusual, so I'm curious if you or the internet agree with him. Extremely loud incorrect buzzer. Extremely loud. This is not an aristocrat's deck. This is you staring at a goth girl. This is you and the Jamba Juice staring slack-jawed at a goth woman. You motherfucker. Okay. Primer alone, I'm going to take issue with the sentence, recur the commander consistently. What is dope as fuck about this commander is you have a board wipe in the command zone. Depending on how you set up the deck and how good you are at like token generation, you may or may not be confident that it's going to wipe out everything the first time you play it. But going, this is the normal brainworm of what if I do commander as many times as possible, that must win games. And that is true for some commanders. I don't believe it's true for Massacre Girl, but I will give you a chance. But like, off rip, the fact that we have not gone, okay, I have a great board wipe in the command zone, I don't have to play creature removal, and all my other cards can just be good because of it, I'm worried for you. I'm worried for you. So we have planeswalkers to benefit from death. I mean, these are like, listen, both mommies in their own right. I think incorrect if we go for scary, but if you want to do spooky, yeah, this is like the type of expensive, funny shit you can play. Wrong, probably. Not the most wrong, but like, so let's talk about how Blood Artist is a 0/1 and will die in the first wave of creature deaths. So hypothetical cannon, it clears boards decently consistently, but it runs into problems. What I think is the problem here is that we're worried about clearing the boards over and over instead of I want to clear the board once and I want that to set me up to win. Those are the two hoses I would love to hook up here. And so broadly speaking, I don't agree with this as an aristocrats deck. Black is great as aristocrats for sure. Most of your aristocrat pieces blow up in the first wave, right? We put Blood Artist on the field. I'm sure we have Zulaport Cutthroat in here somewhere. Where is that dipshit? Yeah. First wave, we're done. So all the other triggers, like I saw a Crowan Horse, I saw Hunted Bone Brute, and so you are at least paying attention to like setting up your opponents having tokens to make sure you have 1/1s to consume. But we're putting I mean, doing this as an aristocrat strategy seems like the McDonald's ice cream machine. You love it. It would be really tasty, it breaks immediately. And so I can understand why this might stall out, because a lot of the things that should theoretically be converting to your victory trip and die as soon as you resolve the commander. Thank you, Shrinkage, for that verbiage on TikTok. Drax, I've been taking a break from TikTok lives, but we're back now. We're also live on Twitch and YouTube as well. So the things I really... That's evil. That's evil as fuck, and you know it. But is correct. The things I like are the effects like Obnixilis Unshackled and Yahenni. These are phenomenal because if you have these on board and you do a big Massacre Girl board wipe, they're going to grow. They're going to be able to run in front of the avalanche, and then when the dust settles, you just have a board of a couple extremely massive assholes left over. Whereas doing... like, we have a commander that says, I will handle killing all the creatures, and then we're committing more slots in our deck to, what if I killed some of their creatures? So that I disagree with. Like, Grim Haruspecs, I'm okay with them tripping and dying. Them dying on the second wave, I think we can extract enough value that it is acceptable. Harvester of Souls not dying until the 5th wave, we'll pick up like 10 fucking cards. Probably. Since we're doing some token generation. And then it's okay that we lose him. We spend 6 mana to pick up 10 cards once. Fine. Same goes for Massacre Girl Known Killer. That's fine. Yeah, so Bloodflies is great. See, like... most of this deck's win cons are accidents happen, bro. This is, I mean, here's the thing, Labrador. This is ineffective hate. This is the hate of a squealing teenager, and we are going to mold them into the effective hatred of a squealing man. Pitiless Plunder is right above Mojo, so they are here. So Sir Conrad is also... I think it is the best of the ones you have because it has 4 toughness. I do think it is the same flavor of Mistake, where Aristocrats is not the way Massacre Girl wants to capitalize on her effect, or it's like it's a very clunky way for Massacre Girl to capitalize on her effect. So we're doing a little bit of tutors, a little bit of draw. I like Season of Loss, okay. It's my 23rd birthday. I thought I was done being called a squealing teenager. Almost canon. Beautiful. Okay, so we do have the right ideas in our brains somewhere. We just want to bring them to the forefront. I think doing this like tricky recurring thing with our commander is fine. I don't think it's the best thing we can do, but I think it's fine. Ideally, I would want to treat Massacre Girl as 5 mana board wipe. Quintessential goth girl in media moment. They walk into your life unexpectedly, they fuck everything up, and then they disappear into the wind. Thrilling Encore is also... Thrilling Encore is, I don't like as much, because the only time this is going to work is if we have Massacre Girl, have one of these, and then like sack Massacre Girl. Oh no, like I just can't imagine a world where we have both cast Massacre Girl and we have 5 more mana to spend on Thrilling Encore. And I'm bringing up this specifically because where I would want this deck to be... Come on, Scryfall. Is here. This is a different avenue of capitalizing on what Massacre Girl is doing, because you can be pretty confident that you're going to blow everything up. And if you're pretty confident that we can blow everything up, it means we're going to have something tasty that we can steal out of the graveyard. Versus just trying to like clear the board over and over and over again. Like if we execute our trick correctly, we ideally want Massacre Girl to be holding hands with Blood Artist and Zulaport Cutthroat if we wanted to convert this into a win. We execute the plan perfectly. Massacre Girl fakes her death, backflips back onto the stage, driving her stiletto heels through the brain stems of both of your aristocrats pieces, and we convert 0 damage. And then it's just Shia LaBeouf clapping off to the left. So this is just like a good late game bomb that you can be confident you will have a use for. You are very confident that we will kill somebody's creatures at some point. In that same vein, there is Breach the Multiverse. I think there are even more mass recursion cards, but that is what I would be doing. I would be doing things that allow you to rob from the graveyards that you have filled. No, Thrilling Encore is not good here, 124. That is the exact card I'm saying cut, because you're never going to have the fucking mana for it. Black Market isn't... We have... we have almost every good black enchantment. So, like, Grave Betrayal, fine. Revel in Riches, very fine. Meat Hook Massacre... See, this is like where your aristocrat stuff should stop. Fashion Remembrance is okay for it, but non-creature aristocrats are where we should stop here. And the other stuff that we can have is Meat Hook Massacre 2. I don't think they're in right now. I think they were advised, they were given bad advice from people who don't like them to put in like Blood Artist Infinites, but then we just have a deck that doesn't give a fuck about its commander. So Meat Hook Massacre 2, this is basically another version of either Grave Betrayal for you, because either you get their creatures or they pay the life, and then you're working towards the end of the game. But the situation we want to avoid at all costs is I kill everything, the dust settles, I have 1/4/4 and no triggers. Blade of the Blood Chief, I like this because this will turn any creature into a thing that can scale with the wipe. I think, God, have you not earned your Bolus's Citadel yet? Tarion Soulcleaver, another example of a thing we can run because it will turn any of our value pieces into sticking around forever. I am not a big believer in Ashnod's Altar and Phyrexian Altar. I think you are playing these only because you want to do the tricky thing of snip-snapping Massacre Girl back onto the board, and I think if you want to replay Massacre Girl, doing it immediately does not serve you. It's like trying to... Massacre Girl is a jump scare. Jump scares are good when you let tension build up and when you can hit people with it unexpectedly, or when they're hoping to not get hit with it. If you just do like fucking jump scare, hypercut, TikTok reel, Subway Surfers on the bottom, everything from that new like Art the Clown, every jump scare from Art the Clown on top, it's going to fall flat and it's not going to drive your game plan forward. What I would want you to do, aristocrat-ish pieces we can play instead. This will turn Massacre Girl into 4 treasures, which will give us the ramp to either cast a bomb or cast the next Massacre Girl. And then we live in the beautiful world of being able to cut all of these fucking scam effects, which I promise you are bad. Danny, yes, Massacre Girl hits everything. Massacre Girl hits each other creature, so it does not have to target, so it hits everything. So there's Ruthless Technomancer, there is Disciple of Bolas, and then for other bombs, there is the Most Ancient of Brass Dragons. And so what we want to do is we want to replace all of these fucking scam effects with things that are either reanimate effects to steal good creatures from other people, or we want to get more of these creatures that grow as creatures die, or big ol' assholes that will do one of the above, like Ancient Brass Dragon. And then, yes, we will get to, here is some direct cookery we can put in the deck and it will just play better. This guy will die. He will trip on, Massacre Girl will cause him to trip on his own dick, walk into a wall of stuffed animals at Target because he's too busy staring at her, and it will be okay because he will presumably flip before he dies. And if he flips first, now we have an emblem. And now that we have an emblem, and I get to flick sand into your eyeball every time this happens without it being reliant on a creature, now we are very, very happy. So, cards that I... God, most fucking typical mono black land base ever. A bunch of swamps and Cabal Coffers, send it. Swamps, Cabal Coffers, send it. I was looking at Tree of Perdition for in-between Massacre Girl triggers. Boy, you thinking about this game all wrong. What's our goal here? What is our goal here? Pool Noodle, I'll post it in TikTok in a moment. I don't have it on hand. I don't disagree with the funny here. I don't disagree that it's like, God, what a statement. You are just burning olive oil in a pan. That's the level of cooking we're at. You have olive oil in a pan. You've set burner to high. I'm waiting for you to put any ingredient in. Oh, like hope you get enough that its toughness is modified to 1 and then swap it. So that is a cookie that you get to have if the rest of the deck works. That is a dessert that you are not allowed to have with the rest of the deck being what it's like. Because we need to have 12 creatures die for that to work. But that is cute if we get that done. So let me pull up a little bit of heat for what will get you to those 12 creatures. I don't know if you already have this. Let me look, because you may already have this. No, thank God. Now I'm smart again. Put this in yesterday. This is how we give people enough 1/1s that you could be confident in Tree of Perdition doing its goddamn thing. In that same vein, we have a lot of like very, very specific synergy pieces. If you want to stay in spooky, which I would recommend you do, I don't think this deck is very happy if you try to go up to scary. If you try to go up to scary, here's what's going to happen. You're going to have Massacre Girl, and then behind Massacre Girl is going to be a deck that does not give a singular shit about Massacre Girl and is just going to be 5 different combos in a trench coat, all making weird squealing noises. So I would recommend this be spooky. I'd recommend you utilize Genesis Chamber, utilize the creatures you already have that are giving tokens away, and then we do some stuff like Lively Dirge, which is just good, solid recursion. Lively Dirge will notably get a Crowan Horse back after we blow it up in the first Massacre Girl thing. It will get the Hunted Bone Brute back. And thankfully, Genesis Chamber is never going away because it's a goddamn artifact. Also, where's Massacre Worm? That's true. You could do... If we want to, anytime you want to recast Massacre Girl with one of those scam effects, you pull out, I want you to pull out a little pocket watch, pop it open. There's going to be a picture of Massacre Worm in there. You're going to give it a little light kiss. That's what you do instead of scamming Massacre Girl. But yeah, having a sap 2 effect, it's a sap 2 effect on a body that won't die quickly. It will still go down in like the really big board wipe, but what's more important than it surviving is I want it to see as many waves as possible. So if it sees all the 1/1s die, if it sees all the 2/2s die, sees all the 3/3s die, when it dies, that's fine, because it has seen enough carnage to inflict permanent PTSD on the entire table, and I think that's the goal. We have Forbidden Orchard in the deck already. But yeah, so final count of cards that I firmly do not believe in. Accursed Marauder, Blood Artist, Blood-Soaked Champion, Falconwrath Noble, maybe Plague Crafter. I'm iffy on Sir Conrad. Iffy on Vindictive Vampire. Even though it's 3 toughness, you gotta have a lot of 1/1s for me to be happy blowing this guy to hell. Woe Strider for sure. This is just aristocrat player brain sickness taking over you. And then Zulaport. Firmly don't believe in those cards. These cards are fine because you presumably filled in the sorceries last. And then every scam effect cut is my honest recommendation to you. I think we have... I understand the brain loop. I too went through a phase of being addicted to Fruit Ninja. What I would recommend is we gotta try to rewrite your brain chemistry such that instead of quantifying joy by how many times did Massacre Girl board wipe, what I want you to think about is what is my high score for total toughness reduction. I'm not going to say you have to even worry about good magic. You don't. You can get to good magic if you just worry about how do I take the biggest possible shit on the table in one turn. And if we do that with creatures like the ones you already have that grow with that, like Obnixilis, that will work out. Or with Massacre Worm on the table. Yeah, listen, I need you to look at the goth girl, and I need you to understand we don't want her crop dusting us all day. We want to be Dutch ovened. You got to accept that. I know it's going to feel stinkier. However, that will make it funnier for some people, and some other people will be even more into it. And then what we can do is we can get more things... we can get more things that will give you card advantage. We can get more things that will deal with non-creature permanents, which you're not going to be great at. You're in black, okay? But holy fuck, do we need Withering Torment more than we need an Edict effect. Then another good call out I saw for creating 1/1s is Clackbridge Troll. And then you just want these giant graveyard theft effects. Vincent Valentine, holy shit. Yeah, Defcat was talking about this earlier, but this is absolute Final Fantasy heat of, let's even talk about on curve. Like, you're just land dropping. You play Vincent, next turn you play Masker Girl. Now you have now you have goth girlfriend, edgelord boyfriend. Job done. And now it's still, the deck is still about Masker Girl. You still get to do cruel and unusual punishment because you give everybody a shitload of tokens. And then he flips into a furry and kills everybody. We also got a really good recommendation for Funeral Room / Awakening Hall. This is going to be the Zulaport Cutthroat effect, but now it's not on a body, so you don't blow out your own asshole. Oh wait, no, Vincent will non-bow. Oh no. DMC, thank you for catching that. Now I'm sad. It's equal to power, so this one genuinely won't work. No. Like, this one only works if you're playing against some player who's all in on like power greater than toughness. That's so sad. All right, well, we kill this guy. Bang bang. The other type of effects where it's just on creature death, we already recommended Sephiroth. Then Funeral Room Awakening Hall. Now we have an aristocrat effect that does not explode our own nutsack, and we have get all of my synergy pieces back. Hirobi is I'm not even gonna read this comment. I realize you're being contrary just for the sake of being contrary. You're a bad boy. You're a bad boy and you know it. We have Bastion already. And genuinely after that, you want card advantage. Let me look at Infernal Genesis. Oh, I spelled it wrong. That makes me a bad person. I'm sorry, everybody. Oh, beautiful. This one's kind of bad for you because it's super expensive. So this would set up like the next rat turn. But honestly, get bobbing here, dude. You got to be bobbing and weaving. Like, this deck, what matters for this deck, we will explode this guy later. That's fine. We have to view that as we can turn off the Dark Confidant life loss anytime we want. We use Dark Confidant to draw into, yes, and we're going to get to Darkstar Augur. We use Dark Confidant until we have drawn into Obnixilis, Slaughter Specialist, one of these assholes that is going to grow when we board wipe. Then we board wipe, and then we have a massive asshole pointed at them. So you can do Dark Confidant. You can do Keen Duelist. I love everybody recommending alternatives, like we're not just playing every single one. Dark Confidant, Keen Duelist, Darkstar Augur. All of them. We're going to board wipe them later, but these are ones where we're not going to piss ourselves because we've board wiped them because they have done their job. We have the other Masker Girl as well. We have black market connections. I think Gixian Puppeteer is a little too in the sauce. I think we would rather just run a reanimate effect here. What about Xenos? This would be cute. Canon, if you look at this and it sparks joy, I think its toughness is high enough that you can give it a shot. I don't think it's mandatory. I don't think it's going to fully non-bow. So yeah, if you think this is funny, if you think like, if you want the game plan of, I build up a board of 1/1s for everybody. I drop something that will benefit from all these things dying. I drop Masker Girl. Now I have one big creature. If you want to add into that mix, now maybe I can point at the one person who won't be able to respond to the board wipe and kill them and then win. I support that at Spooky. I am a firm believer this deck should not be scary. If you are trying to do mono black scary, you're going to be doing combo, and then Masker Girl just doesn't matter anymore. Like you can, it just becomes, here's my mono black combo deck, but I wasted 20 slots on scam cards to scam my commander who the only reason they fuel the combo is they kill one creature one time. I believe we do have Reign of Riches. I would also, quite frankly, I think you could make this a relatively clean attempt at a bracket 2 deck. I think you might have to manage like the expectations of like, hey, I'm gonna board wipe you at least once a game. Please don't be children about that. But we definitely don't need this. This is a load-bearing Birkin bag right here. We have Slaughter Specialist. I think Cordial Vampire's fine because at least one creature will likely die between playing Cordial Vampire and playing Massacre Girl. Well, we don't need to be, Shay. We just, like, Cordial Vampire only has to put a counter on himself. If he puts a counter on himself, we are happy. We are, like, fully okay with that. Terrence, I think the deck as is does struggle to win post-wipe, which is why all of these suggestions I made were ways to firm up having a Blade of the Blood Chief or having a Tarian Soul Cleaver or having a creature like Yahenni that grows with death, and then we win post-wipe by beating everybody to death. I think trying to convert the wipe into sufficient life loss to win, deeply wrong. Oh, is there even more Final Fantasy heat? No. This says sacrifice only. This is just a different deck, quite frankly. Tanner, the reviews are not via Patreon, they are via Ko-Fi. They are like individually purchased commissions. Yeah, so Zodiark won't really work for us because it's not triggering off of death. Don't do Reaper's Scythe. Immediately, no. Shayla, thank you for the 3 months in a row at Prime, my friend. Welcome back to the dog home. Yeah, there is a lot of Final Fantasy heat for this deck. I agree, this one's not it. Is Vogar Necropolis Tyrant in there? Hell yeah, this is our new hero. Like, oh, dies during our turn. That's our whole goddamn plan. We do not put Drivnod in this thing. That is EDH invading your mind. To anybody that wants to play the goth anime girly, the moment you are putting direct aristocrats, life drain, trigger doubling stuff in, Joey Schultz has invaded your mind. He is the devil from the Bible, even though he is part of a very useful team that has made a wonderful service. Do not listen. All right? You put in this stinky, stinky giant man instead, and you have a better time. But yeah, Vogar's cookery. Big menacing thing is going to get really big off of your Massacre Girl board wipe. Anybody answers him, job done. No time, but we already recommended Meat Hook Massacre 2. Meat Hook Massacre 2. Hold on. So hypothetical, oh, sorry. Little Freudian slip there. Hypothetical cannon, I'm going to place you down here because right now we are minigame focused, but the minigame we're focused on is not one that I think converts well into winning the game. And I think there is a minigame contained within a Massacre Girl deck that does convert to winning the game, but I would abandon the typical mono black aristocrat strategy. I think the deck is cute. I think you've got some good ideas at play here. And I think possibly because you're talking to a Najeela player, which is not healthy for you, you have been led astray from the power of Massacre Girl, and the true power of Massacre Girl is the giant Bone Daddy who can kill everybody after you do one massive, massive board wipe. So I would refocus your behavior on that. We have Black Market already, and as always, Buster Sword, baby. Let me just tell you this right now. You cast Massacre Girl. The next turn, you cast Buster Sword and swing. You win that game. Dollars to donuts. You win that game, or you are carried out on your shield as the archenemy. Nutty, I'm gonna ban you if you suggest the Vorpal Sword again. I am not on Buster Sword. Dog Spoon, it is legal to be wrong. It is super legal to be wrong. We have Rise of the Dreadmarn. That was one of the things I called out as a great idea to begin with. Marionette Apprentice is wrong. Don't do that. Well, it's not wrong, but I think it is opposed spiritually to what would be cool about this deck. So we're going to hit the manual ad break, and then it's going to be time for Starry-Eyed Hypothetical Canon. I hope you enjoyed. Happy birthday, and please enjoy lunch with your family. So for everybody on TikTok and YouTube, well, everybody on TikTok, my TikTok lives tend to get deactivated halfway through because the app is a little bit weird. Please come over to Twitch and or YouTube if you don't mind. But if you want your deck to get roasted, there are 3 ways. At the beginning of every month, we do a free deck roast raffle on Twitch chat. And at the beginning of every month, second way, we sell commissions on Ko-Fi. So for $69 right now, you can buy a deck roast. They sell out in about 2 hours. The third way, and this began as a joke, if you pass me $500, I will roast your deck on the spot. Or if you pass me $694.20, I will get my girlfriend Z-Main character who also makes content, and we will roast your deck together. And then Charles, do you ever build decks with monetary limits like $50 max for the whole deck? No, I broadly hate budget as a restraint. I think budget does create a restriction. Budget decks often have not created a deeply interesting restriction to me. They just create false novelty, or I shouldn't say false novelty. They create novelty, but I do not derive a lot of joy just from novelty. I like new patterns. I like creating new choices in the game, whereas budget decks are typically like, we're making all the same choices but badly. We're doing good, Stormblast. Anytime I hear the $694.20 price point, I start to think, why not $420.69? And then I remember how numbers work. Peta dude, it gets me too. Consider Deadpool with constant flickering and cloning. Stray, I have considered it, and I'm now unhappy, and I'm gonna leave about it. God, nothing helps a walk-off bit like Z asking for my help with something right when I walk out of the camera. I was like, haha, I've done my walk-off bit. Now to return, and I hear, Babe? Babe, come check this out. Also, DMC, thank you for the 100-bit cheer. Pauper Commander is fun, though. I was coerced into playing in an event, and you should have seen the room blow up when I played Leave No Trace. A room full of people whipped out notebooks and phones because they didn't know an enchantment wipe existed in common. Pauper can be fun and creative, but it's not strictly budget. I agree with that, but I think that's writing... Like, I think other people like novelty a lot more than I do. And I don't think that delegitimizes their fun, but I think it means that I can't go like... Personally, I cannot look at event moments being pog and think, oh, I'll probably have fun doing that thing. Because... frankly, that... It might be cool to comment. Like, I could think of ways to commentate that moment that might be cool. But if I was learning about the first enchantment wipe at common, I would just be like, oh, that sucks that I didn't know about that. Okay. Like, I don't derive a lot of joy just from learning that new cards exist. There are some bad cards that I do want to play with because I like the situations they create, which is a very close thing. But yeah, I'm persnickety, and I own that, and that's okay. Cannonball Brad saying, so remember how I told you I pulled 3 Buster Swords? My wife pulled a 4th earlier. That's dope as hell. Brad, I went to pre-release yesterday. I pulled 2. So I'm doing my best to catch up. Oh, yeah. We'll cut to it, Starry-Eyed. This is a silly deck. Hey guys, I've been chilling with my scaly friend since last time, and I met someone super cool while I was there. Bracket 3? Yeah? This is what you wanted us to hurry up to? My shithead Esper deck that definitely does not win with the commander unless I'm about to scroll down to grafted exoskeleton? That's what the bustle's about? Okay. Okay. Alright. Now I know he's a human, but he's got a similar love for dragons, and we get along great. He really knows about how they live and stuff. I think he's a researcher or something. Doghouse, this is my new friend, Jomium. The plan for this deck is simple. I play Human Kindred, but with Chromium as an unblockable hexproof commander damage dealing regular guy. For the sake of keeping flavor, I aim to only have Chromium swing as a human, since it wouldn't be very regular guy of him to pull up to the function and eat somebody only to turn into a human when convenient. I'm aware the game plan is shooting myself in the foot. I simply do not care because the dopamine go crazy when I say, what do you mean? He's just a normal guy, when I swing out with an unblockable 2020. Now, without further ado, please allow me to introduce you to my good friend Jomium, the totally normal guy, Joe for short. Okay, you've brought me back around. This is Esper Voltron, and our Voltron target is in the command zone. I genuinely am going to disqualify you from silly. This is too good of an idea. I think the primer is silly. What I'll give you, for sure, goofy points. You've got me hucking all the way to the bank, but Esper Voltron, and I'm not even looking at the list yet, but Esper Voltron, when my commander is the target and is a hexproof unblockable creature, That's not bad by like any stretch of the imagination. Like or unless we've just gone like, I'm both playing Chromium and I'm refusing to play any good cards in Esper. If the bid is not only Chromium's a human, it's also Chromium is the illiterate human who doesn't know what cards exist in Esper, then we might hit silly. We've done it. We've done it. Well, Starry, I think it's less of doubting your ability to make a shitty deck and more of believing your primer. Because your primer talks about an unblockable 2020. An Apothecary White, Adeline... Nothing in these first 8 tell me anything about an unblockable 2020. So, if anything, I trusted your ability to lie too much. It does also say Human Kindred... But, like, Human Kindred isn't bad. That's also another thing of, like, you told me two perfectly good and reasonable things to attempt, and then you shoved Apothecary White into the middle of it. So we have Monarchy. So we have stuff that says make a human. Right, Danny. It's Chromium, but the bit is Chromium has never heard of a good Magic card. Okay, reveal human. Humans get abilities. Yeah, 4 more humans. Humans get +2/+2. There we go. There we go, right? Like, this can happen. Sure, tokens become card draw. Sure, board-wide indestructibility proof. Man. Alright. What are we... You don't deserve this. Frankly. You do not deserve this. Sure, and then we're on... Dog. What's up with it? Tell me the story. Tell me the riddle. Tell me the riddle that justifies the madness, the madness bounce spell that has a madness cost equal to unsummon. Commander discard. Okay, we discard it to Chromium. There's the riddle. That works. I accept that. Hater shit, but alright. You don't deserve it! Computer enhance. What if we picked up one card in your fucking life? What if we picked up one card in your godforsaken life, Starry? I made the deck pre-Final Fantasy! This boy's straight out of Ravnica. Neat. Neat! Alright, the goalposts are out in Ohio now. Beautiful. Okay. 1/1 for each creature you control. This seems... I do think we have to make a decision between Go Wide and Voltron. in a... Maybe we don't. Maybe we don't. I'll hold off on that. Because I could see how, like, you put the crown on Bob. Bob's King of the Humans. This is flavorful. It will convert into... Hey, if Bob's unblockable and has his hat on, everybody dies. So, like... Then we have a just shitload of mana rocks, presumably because we have to count to 1 billion. All right, so the way we want to win is either we overrun with humans, or Joe, sorry for the misnomer, or Joe is given an item that gives them +1/+1 for each creature you control. Now, genuinely, I don't think our deck supports the Enlightened and Vampiric, if only because I want you to be able to play this at bracket 2 and Gen Pop. If that's not a meaningful concern, if you're like, oh, my group is fine with me having really good tutors in a really bad deck, then you can keep these. If you want to ever play this at Gen Pop, we swap those for equipment tutors so that you can just tell people, like, this is bracket 2, make humans. Okay, then we have Hope Against Hope. We have Etchings of the Chosen. This can at least, like, turn our tokens. Okay, good. Right, that's what I was figuring is, like, if we make it an equipment tutor, it's getting the thing anyway. And then what problems do we have to solve? The main problem we have to solve is how do we create lots of humans? How many human creators do we make? Yeah, we have a 7-mana 1/1. Listen, the bar is in hell, and we are going to crawl out together. Probably the best card in our deck. The other thing I want to interrogate for you, Starry, is how strict is human kindred? As long as we are winning the games with humans, how far astray can we go? Because I noticed things like a spirit creature, like a robot, but a robot that names humans. Is it okay to play non-humans if they talk about humans? That's fine. Okay, if it is a human or if it talks about humans in its text box. I think we can work with that. I mean, honestly, this is the time to go to the zoo and see what's appropriate, because the making an effective Kindred deck is a process of brainworming. So we need right now we need to just we just need to slurp these brainworms up into our heads. Humans decks, great. Damn, we gotta go pretty... Ain't nobody doing Esper humans. Damn. Damn. Okay, let's see what the Aragorn players are doing. We're not going to have access to red or green. These are soldiers. At bracket 2, how do we feel about Elspeth, who is clearly a human woman, but does not say human on her, and does not create a thing that says human? Oh, on the top there's a color filter. Okay. That's extremely whatever. That doesn't actually say humans. Yeah, see, this is again like should be a human, but not actually. We have a human investigator that doesn't make humans. All right. So company commander is probably worth considering. It does not create humans, but it is a human, and it is a human who makes a meaningful amount of shit. It may not be good enough, but the archetype as a whole is quite bad. Let's see. I'm gonna look at things that say human in Esper. I presume we already have this land. Listen. Listen, our boy, listen. So this would be the type of thing that can save you. I don't know if we have enough tokens to support him, but this is like, wow, what a good human. I believe we have increasing devotion in our deck already. Believe we have Prince Imrahil the Fair. Do we have Losnark Captain? We don't. I think we should. I don't even believe we can afford to turn down one human per upkeep. Champion of the Parish would not be a bad Joe understudy. This is kind of like the one zombie who's like Champion of the Damned or something. But this is just a guy that you can drop that will get bigger with almost everything you do. We could do Visions of Glory, but Jesus fuck, do we need to already have guys out for this to pay off? We could do Denethor, but we're not big on sack. God, can we bring back Shithead Standard? So we can get 3 1/1s out of this if we're not winning. We probably could do something with the Prid win. Or the Pride win, however you pronounce that shit. Hero of Precinct 1, maybe. I think most of our stuff is mixed colors. Joe is mixed colors. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Never fucking mind. I spit in my own eyeball. So, forget Hero of Precinct 1. But we do have 24 artifacts. I think you probably do want Hanware Militia Captain. Do we have Kathar's Call yet? And if we don't, what are we... Okay. So the stuff we don't need in white is I don't think we need board buff that happens one at a time. I think making our shitty 1/1s 2/2s, potentially making our shitty 2/2s 3/3s, I do not think that will be sufficient to convert into anything. We would rather just have more draw or more humans for the eventual Moonshaker Cavalry turn. Similarly, I don't like really any of your removal. I think we have done... You have some clever stuff, for sure. You have some clever stuff, like doing the madness stuff to play around Joe's ability is cute. We already have a full Cirque du Soleil routine planned around Joe's ability, and it's planned entirely around the word human. So I think if you want to pull extra tricks around the discard, the card has to be like so good. Here we are doing a trick to play a bad removal spell at a rate we could already get elsewhere. And so I think the removal should be just genuinely effective. Like circular logic might be good enough for that, if not for the fact that in bracket 2 I stopped believing in a lot of single target removal. Now you can discard whenever. We can hold the Gaestro. We get the effect. It's not a good way to turn Chromium into Joe, but it is a thing. Like circular logic we could theoretically do at any time. The problem with it is that counterspelling things gets worse and worse and worse the lower and lower and lower we go. What I would highly recommend is just one-sided shit. Like frankly, a lot of if we get a board full of human tokens, who cares if Joe is out? It's austere command time, baby. Probably even better, once we get rid of these fucking emblems, is Battle of Bywater. Get this shit out of here. Perfect. Do you think we should cool it with the racism, guys? Dragons are not that bad. Then DMC, thank you for the bits. We will do the tag tour in a moment, or we will do the suggestions in a moment. Human lair after the ... looks extremely human. I think there are plenty of things you can add to this land base for non-basics that will help with fixing, but like Ardenvale's the one important land for you to have. Humans Horde 2, what are you talking about? Monarchy, yeah, sure, and we already talked about this card. I totally need the buffs, just look how flimsy I am. Here is where we can start to have like the things that I disagree with, because good, slow, but fine in bracket 2. This is where it starts to fall apart a little bit for me. The ability to give something else indestructible helps, but I would rather just have more good cards. Most of our humans are pretty shitty. This turning humans into sack is fine, but I would probably prefer a human maker over something like this. This guy's great. This guy's great. This is totally applicable. Don't believe in. Slow, but it's bracket 2, so like, sure. Look at my hand. Totally human, no claws at all. So good, we swap for tutors that will not scare all the hoes and will do the exact same amount of effective thing. This is fine. Well, okay. So here's the thing. This is fine if we significantly bring up the number of humans, because we don't even... Like, we can't put it to bottom if we miss, and so only having 19 creatures in the deck and only having 15 humans in the deck, this is just, like, right now not going to trigger for us. If we want this to feel like Kindred, it should be, like, 25 to 30 humans. And then it will feel like a Kindred deck. No scales or anything. I have to wear armor. I think you don't believe in this, really. I'm trying to imagine who you're playing against and who is reacting with aggression towards this deck's current game plan. Like, cause like this is good and solid. This is good and solid. Preventing all combat damage is fine because we have a lot of attack triggers. And then sacking to like save them from a board wipe. But a 6 mana investment to start getting indestructible on one human feels like we think our humans are a lot more powerful than they are. No, I never ate that guy. What a weird question to ask. Haha. I like the total number of cards you have in here. I would prefer if these were just... Like, you should really be on... It should feel as good as Kindred Dominance or as good as Raise the Palisade, or you should not play it. Like, Battle of Bywater will make you feel that good in some situations, but in bracket 2-ish, this removal mostly being one-offs, when the tempo you want to take is, I just want to be committing little shitheads to board or mana rocks to board, and I'm otherwise hanging the fuck out. We don't want to be doing one-for-ones. Oh, thank fuck, it says human on it. Got him. Human MDFC we can add in easily. And then Dark Tutelage, most of our cards are pretty shitty. Like our commander, yeah, our commander is the big expensive thing. So you can afford to play Dark Tutelage as well. We rely on numbers because we're all small and fleshy. Yeah. I will allow these banner effects because I understand that is the gimmick of the deck. We know they're bad. We know they're silly. We really breed like rabbits, huh? I hear dragons only have an egg like every 100 years or whatever. This is what we need to beef up because we have great generator. We have honestly good generator once we get 1 or 2 solid attacks off because we're never going to use these foods. Totally fine generator. Totally fine generator. We're working with what we got. Probably okay. I don't really think we have card draw like that though. This really only works if we have Monarchy on. Faramir is probably good here. So now I'm going to begin looking at, but you put all those card draw things in. Pretty please and thank you. Sure, this is a human that you could play. This is another human that you could play, yes. Yeah, sure. This is probably the only single target, or some of the only single target removal I would recommend you have. The rest of it, we just want to be like, we want racism, quite frankly, against non-humans. We don't want to be racist against any of the other humans, but us and our glorious human leader, Joe, like, it's all got to be, even if it doesn't say, like, you got to think like a Republican, right? This doesn't say anything racist on it. But boy howdy, do all of our humans happen to be under mana value 4. Isn't that crazy? Wow, do all of our humans happen to be power 3 or less? Oh, who could have guessed? Not me. Not me. Not me when I wrote that legislation and forced it through Congress and stared at all those dying children in the eye. Yeah, is Alec Man saying dog whistle maxing? Let's look at Arcade Ganon. Yeah, man, he's a human who draws cards, and we're like real down low. We're real down low in the brackets right now. And so anything that can keep our hand full, anything that can get us to these like hateful board wipes that we're going to use. And yeah, you can get humans back too. But I think that's most of what we have to be on, and this is I am going to goldfish it because this looks just heinous and I want to witness it. Excellent, we have a counter spell and no creatures in hand. I'm not going to put you through watching this particular goldfish, and I will free mulligan. Okay, lands and spells. We skip turn 1, we skip turn 2, normal bracket 3 shit. We play a hilariously ominous equipment. We play Faramir, Prince of Ilithian. We choose the opponent most likely to attack us. I'm going to be very kind and assume they give us 3 1/1s. Beautiful. Truly beautiful. We play a talisman. We don't play this because it will just scare the hoes. We pick somebody else and say, please, please, I require you to give me 3 1/1s. They do because they owe us money. Now we can play a tap land. I mean, we already kind of sold the ship with this. So we make three more humans for the barracks. Yes. We name somebody else and we say, please, bro, I swear to God, I will let you hit me. Just please, please, let me make 3 more humans. They do. Because we dog sat for them 3 years ago and they've never forgotten our kindness. And now, like, at this point, so we can play this, we can Chromium on someone else's end step. And then theoretically by turn 8, this is still not lethal. Woo! So we discard Rally the Ranks. We have Joe, the 1/1. We have 12 soldiers and 13 other creatures specifically, but 14 total creatures. So Joe is a 15/15 if we get one effect, and they can go up to a 29/29. So we stack, and then we presumably kill one person, and then like every Voltron player, we accept our fate. Oh, that's awful. But I think what this proves is we can make this work if we create humans. This is like the most aspirational we have ever been in a playtest, because we were assuming that somebody was colluding with us to give us 3 humans for 3 turns in a row. But I think it all has to be about those human token generators and then other pieces of card advantage such that you can interact. The only piece of interaction you have, like turn 8 in a casual game, the Gishath player probably fucking ate you because they saw you sit down with an Esper deck. They thought you were going to be the adult, and then you land past for 5 turns. and all we've had is one counterspell. And so instead of things like this, imagine if it was a like Ingaruk's Wake or a Battle of Bywater or an Austere Command or even a Settle the Wreckage. Just anything that's going to hit. If anything, I talk about this a lot now. If in your bracket 2 deck, something is designated as this is a problem solver, it should solve the fuck out of that problem. It should not solve one problem, it should solve all of your problem. If it is something that fills a different slot, you're in a creature deck and you're running Reclamation Sage, or you're in a creature deck and it's a fight creature, yeah, sure, go nuts. But if it is in your deck and you're in bracket 2, like deep casual, and its only job is to solve a problem, you need hollow purple. We don't need counterspells. We need Go-Go Gadget Circumcision. Yeah, we could run Mass Appeal if we fix the other stuff. I would not recommend Black Market Connections instead of Dark Tutelage. If you run Black Market Connections, that is an and, not an or. But yeah, you could do Aetherize. Like this over Counterspell every day of the fucking week for bracket 2. Grima Saruman's Footman. This really depends on the table, because some tables, if they see you're committing theft, they're just going to kill you no matter what. Otherwise, it's like it's a totally fine value generator in a deck that currently seeks to generate no value but starry-eyed giggling every once in a while. So I'm going to put you genuinely less on YouTube short behavior than the Masker Girl deck. I think you're at least somewhat playing to what this deck wants to do, but I think you got taken over by the Brainworms when it came to your interaction section. This is like mostly Esper interaction section with a splash of, oh hey, Madness works. And you should just be on firm bracket 2. Do we have token generation recommendations? I think there were some we talked about at the beginning of stream, or at the beginning of this deck. Like we have, where's our token generated section? Where's the guys? Okay. So we don't currently have Hanwar Militia Captain. You don't have Lossarnar Captain, which is another thing we just strolled on past. You don't have Kathar's Call, which you can put on any of these fuck-ass humans. You are not above Thraben Doomsayer. Oh, we have Hanwar. Oh, then it's just not tagged under the breeding section. Ah, so we're between... What? So there's breed like rabbits and rely on numbers. I do not... Okay, whatever. But anyway, I think Thraben Doomsayer, this should be the guy where you're like, how do I fire you? You want to be looking at Thraben Doomsayer every day that you clock into work and being like, how do I find a creature that is good enough to cut you? And right now, we don't have it. Oh, Assemble the Players would be good value. Get access to top deck. But again, this is something we only do once we have like 30 creatures. We have 19 right now. So we can't play it with the deck as it is. We're definitely not doing cycling. God, this only being on... I know I hate on Planeswalkers, but that only being on minus is fucking hateful. Distract the guards is at least 3 for 3 mana. So like this can make tokens. I don't think Commanding Presence will convert for you very well. Protector of Gondor is tough because we're not flickering. Commander's Authority is probably too expensive. I mean, if our card advantage does get better, Thraben Standard Bearer could be used. This is one where I like super don't believe in it at the moment, but if in future playtesting you become quite happy with how many cards you're drawing, then that's another way to dump. Yeesh. And that is it. So I would put those in and then put more card draw engines in, and then most of like I would do legal mulligans. I wouldn't even do friendly mulligans. And then like most of your legal mulliganing is I have to hit either a good engine or I have to hit a card draw engine and hope that I draw into one of my good engines. Or we could play other we could play other like specific tutors, and then can that hit any of our... Can't hit Apothecary White. Can hit Faramir. Can't hit this Faramir. Can't hit Imrahil. Can't hit White Glove Gourmand. Can't hit Esper Sentinel. Can't hit Hanweir. It can hit a few things. Notably, is a human. Isn't that nice? This does not say... Well, this is a human who makes a shitload of tokens, but the tokens don't say human, but I think that's probably okay. I'm pretty sure we have this. I swear I've scrolled past this fuck-ass card. Yeah, we just have this. Alright. So Starry-Eyed, that's what we're going to call it for this deck. But that's what we correct, is we correct a few more human engines, a lot more card draw engines, a lot more humans in general. And then you can hopefully get to more like playable wide boards. The thing I would consider if you want to try to convert the wide board of humans is like this. Because then this is a better board buff. Like turning them all into 4/4s for combat and I swing out on the table is better than these like 2 mana, they become 2/2s. But thank you very much for the submission. We're going to hit the manual ad break, and then Peta Dude, you're up. Scott, the way to submit a deck is via a Ko-Fi commission. They are sold out for the month, but you will have an opportunity at the beginning of next month. Or you can pay $500 right fucking now, and I'll do it on the other side of this bathroom break. All right. Gunfighter 369, thank you for the Prime sub, my friend. Welcome back to the dog home. Let's look at what Peta Dude has. This is silly, spooky. I've been playing Magic on and off since Onslaught Block, and one of my favorite mechanics and sub-themes have been domain and land type / color manipulation. This is the 2025 take on that style of deck. The commander choice is a bit of a personal touch, open to changes, but I want the deck to remain mono blue. So mono blue domain. Thank God. The bird's eyes are covered. James, the colorblind father. A silly themed deck with accidental spooky turns due to Psychosis Crawler and Scrawling Crawler. Mono blue domain with Scion of Draco and Swirl to Mist to set everything to blue, mostly using what effects I can to get to 5 domain for Collective Restraint. Legitimately a good card, I promise. Alright, so... What the fuck? Next time you would draw a card, each player returns a permanent to hand. Yeah, there's no way that can get fucked up with the Clue Commander, and that definitely feels very domainy. Domain expansion. So this is the card. Creatures can't attack you unless they pay X for each creature attacking you, where X is the number of basic land types. So is this mono blue control, but sometimes I play propaganda too? Is that what we're on today? If we can show me a way that we are winning the game compellingly at silly, spooky with domain, I'll believe you. It's not Scion of Draco, first of all, but otherwise, I'm immediately worried that this is just like, especially with Words of Wind. Going from Words of Wind to Collective Restraint is mono blue, I lock you in prison, and sometimes the prison has propaganda playing on 2 different screens. So there's a Luge, which that's good blue card. That's so bad. That's so fucking bad. I realize we're doing it because you love domain, and it's funny to be like, see, this card's good because domain. You're paying the exact same amount of money as you would to just counter the spell. That's a statement. That's a statement. Alright, and then Glamour Die. We can replace all instances of one color word with another. This is an example of a thing I will fully believe in if we can show me what this works for. Everything's island, sure. We're changing color words. Okay, we get a factor fiction domain effect that we shouldn't get in blue. That's sneaky. That's funny. I get to look at the top 5 instead of the top 1. Actual thing happening here. All right. All right. We get worse stock up. Excellent. Excellent. We have Worldly Council, 2 mana, check 5, get 1. Hell yes. We have Ramp. You could probably accidentally win with this. I have no concept of what a tutor is. So real of you. Mango, please, we're gonna need to pull Peta Dude's assertion that this is not a control deck, it's a bad deck. And Peta Dude, I'm now gonna tell you 2 things can in fact be true. So, and extra turns. Fucking. Don't worry, guys. The deck is so bad. Surely, though, if you give me a second turn, I'll be able to figure something out. Red. Yes, very red effect. Draw a card for instant or sorcery. Hey, swapping creatures. This is probably the best card in your deck because somebody else might have a good creature. Maybe I get free shit. Oh. Oh my fucking god. It's like I can see the gears actively turning on how, like, okay, well, this isn't converting to a win yet. I got to figure out something to do, and at some point we just started fucking hucking grenades into the shelter. Peter, dude, I defy you to tell me a theme. What strand of fate is connecting Knowledge Pool to Hullbreaker Horror in this deck? Neither of those say fuck all about Domain. And then we just have like you can tag anything. Our tag can say anything. Gag Bomb proved that with their exceedingly sexual instant roast. You can make a tag say anything you want it to say. I cannot see a through line on this. Okay, then we have God, what even was the card we wanted to resolve? Let me look at this. We have Collective Restraint, but 1 mana cheaper. And not as effective, obviously. Okay, we might trip ass backwards into a win here. This is the first deck where I won't even freak out on Isochron Scepter. I defy you to put anything under this that would worry me. Okay, let's do the bad news first and rip the band-aid off. I think this sucks. I see the vision. I can even see Loving Domain as a strategy. I do not think this is coherent, and I think in all the places it is incoherent, we have tried to flex seal in blue cards that are good at tying the game up. Unfortunately, blue cards that are good at tying the game up tend to double as Dutch ovens. And so we have a deck that does mostly nothing. Occasionally you will do a funny land switch thing. And if it ever matters, it matters because here's a Hullbreaker lock. Or it matters because now I'm wheeling you Now I'm wheeling you with a Psychosis Crawler out. And the gimmick as you have described it sounds much more suited to PowerPoint Night than it does a Commander deck. I think if you want this to exist as a Commander deck, it genuinely should exist in bracket 1, and we should just give up on any of these good cards, and every fucking thing should say Domain or should reference a basic land type on it, and then like we can, because that is where you get full on PowerPoint Night. I struggle to imagine. Let me go to the Goldfish. Let's see. Let's see. I'm sure I don't want to cast this to draw 1. I can try to make a deal here. I can wrong turn somebody else's creature to somebody who promises to not hit me with it. It's turn 3, so I probably don't have to do that even, but that is like, there's a potential move we can make. Realistically, I'm probably dropping the adaptive training post. I drop counterbalance, although I would immediately become afraid that the pod was going to just surgically remove a lot of my bits and bobs. I pass doing nothing. Maybe I can do the wrong turn thing at some point. All right, now I have Sensei's Divining Top. I'm going to discard Echo of Eons to hand size. On my next turn, I will run out the top. I will run out the counterbalance. Fuck a blocker, bro. Fuck a blocker. And then I, on end step, check top 3. Next turn, Urza's Cave. I will Eons from the grave. So it's turn 7. We've played no creatures. Then Peter, dude, pretend we don't have Reliquary Tower, because this is me. This is me trying to help. Something I failed to mention in the primer, my pod is egregiously averse to enchantment removal. I truly don't think that matters. I think we're confronting, like, we have a combination of, it's been 7 turns. We have not been able to interact at all. But we've also set up a potential, I have counterbalance in Sensei's Divining Top, so anytime somebody tries to do anything, we go like, ho ho ho, maybe I can stop you. The only thing that we can try to pull back with is dumping mana into James, or hoping that a 2/4 can hold it up. So we dump mana into James, we get 3 clues. That's our big turn 7 play, is triple clue. Or I guess we hadn't hit land drop, so 4 clues. Hell yeah. Top balancing. I'm talking about like when you play this, people beat you to death. I don't mean oh they're gonna blow up counterbalance. I mean like anybody with a creature is gonna go, hey, that guy who's not playing creatures might counter my spell. I'm gonna show him a thing or two about a thing or two. Then turn 8, we hit another land drop. We could Solemn, but I don't think that matters. I turn 2 mana into drawing. Fucking Psychosis Crawler. Fuck it. Next turn. We have to tap these to draw from them. This is truly ridiculous. But sure, 500-year diary. Now we can bank a truly tremendous number of clones. And we could have also committed, like, River Songs. We just keep committing to board. Nobody ever does anything bad to us. Turn 10. I do think we missed 2 land drops. So now we can float 3. We have enough mana to presumably make, like, in the neighborhood of 7 or 8 more clues. I'm not even going to worry about being exact here. So if we untap again, like, we might start killing people. Like, it can happen. If only because we can float a ton of mana and draw off of Psychosis Crawler and hope we hit a wheel, or hope we, like, we just dump 1,000,000 mana into Mind's Aglow and hope that we spin off that. But I'm standing firm in my, I don't think this is a deck that should exist. I think this should be a PowerPoint about how cool you think Domain is, or I think this is a hardcore bracket 1, everything says Domain on it, and we just accept that it, because this is, we are in Full Metal Alchemist Chimera territory, brother. I understand there's little changes we can make in the piloting to make it go a little bit better, but this is like a full hour of not impacting the game state to maybe go Psychosis Crawler Wheel. And so I think it's another thing of cute sentence, inadvisable deck to go, I'm going to do monocolor Domain. I would probably believe in it more in like green just because they have so many land shenanigans, but going, yeah, I'm going to do mono blue Domain. That is hilarious if you pull it off, and the only thing we pulled was our hamstring. I do actually agree with James as the commander, because James gives you a mana dump to get clues to refill your hand, and so if you do make this as a bracket 1 deck, I think James is the guy that you use for said bracket 1 deck. But I just don't think mono blue Domain can exist as a functional deck. I think check out how I turned on Collective Restraint is a funny YouTube short, but I don't think it is a functional deck in any sense of the word. Like, are we... Oh lordy. I'm redacting this. Do we ponder... I mean, I'm just gonna get Factor Fiction after I can get lands, right? Because I have to... Fuck it, counterbalance. I can counter nothing. I can Factor Fiction. I mean, they probably put like ominous, they put one of these two off to one side and everything else off to the other. And there are worlds in which 100-Year Diary floating 200 mana can save you. There are worlds in which wheeling or sticking a Forced Fruition can save you, but that's flex tape. It's not, here's my Domain deck. It's like, oh shit, the mono blue player wheeled, which I don't think is even capturing the energy that we want the deck to capture. Like, I think you have, this is like trying to make a deck based on the memory of the first time that your dad let you have a sip of beer on the patio at like a lake house that you drove up to that your rich cousins owned. It's such an ephemeral moment and feeling, and I do think that it is cute and special. I do not think that it is robust enough to use as the framework for a 99 card singleton deck in a strategy game. Like, I think there we're well past the limits of what it can do, and we should instead have a PowerPoint night about all of the fucked up Domain interactions you could do, or it's bracket 1, we fully accept that it will barely even play Monopoly, let alone Magic, and then just every card in the deck says Domain or references changing colors. I know there was one card you were talking about in chat, hey, we didn't use this one because it's temporary. But it's Stratodon time, baby. It's Vote a Sea Scavenger, baby. And then it's even like, and I'm sure there's other stuff that's not captured by just searching for Domain, but this is what it's got to be, is we just have it be a full presentation on what Domain is. I can see why you did, because the individual interactions they make me want to be like, oh, can we make this work? And drawing on the, at this point, I think 4-digit numbers of decks we've looked at, there's just not enough ingredients in the world for this specific sauce. But it's fine for a like just very low power, like in the basement. What's up, Rowan? And then you can just make a like low power deck that is comfortable in its low powerness, and all you do is fuck with colors, or like maybe a way to mess around with this is mess with cards that have like protection from a color, and then domain can help you play with that somehow. I'm not really sure, but I think whatever version of this exists best as a bracket 1 deck, and then after that exists best as a PowerPoint. So I do appreciate the submission. I am going to designate you as lost in the sauce. Because I can see from the deck you know enough about Magic to try and save it, but I think all the things that are trying to save it, we're in the space of we are moving mountains to try and achieve this bit, and we can't appreciate the bit anymore. We can only appreciate the mountains being moved. We're going to go to a shorter ad break, and then Shaper, are you here? And if Shaper's not here, BM Shooter, are you still here and ready to go? I have a color hacking 4-color Aragorn deck that's mono blue Spellslinger. See, Benjamin, that works because Aragorn is a fucked up piece of shit. I believe in that fully because if all you got out of it is Scry 2 on every spell I cast, you can work something out. If you get to color hack and you're probably color hacking them to green, fuck yeah, that works. It's when we are starting with monocolor, it becomes a lot more difficult. All right, Shaper and Shooter are both here. We're going to do Shaper, then Shooter. I'll see you on the other side of a 60-second ad break. I'm going to sip some goddamn coffee. I am introducing some friends to CEDH night tonight. Does anybody have suggestions for who I should try to make them play? Also, Switch DM, thank you for the 7 months in a row at tier 1. Welcome back to the dog home. Will I get permabanned if I say I'm brewing an Esper Super Friends deck with Graha Tia at the helm? Switch, come on. You're a valued member of this community. I would never do something as petulant as banning somebody just because they play an archetype I don't like. I care about you. I care about Super Friends. And not only will I not ban you, I invite you right now to tell me all of the cool cards in that deck. And let's all have a moment to look at chat and wait for Twitch GM to share just genuinely one cool thing about the deck. Any cool thing. I'm sure they're just thinking. Luxanu, thank you for that random smasher pass. We'll do that to give Switch DM some time. That's just a land. No, I normally give humanoids a pass. This dude is fucking lost in it. He cannot consent at this moment. There is, like, we normally assume enthusiastic consent. Look at that man's expression. There is no chance. Enigma Requiem, thank you for the 2 months in a row at tier 1, my friend. Welcome back to the dog home. He's got to work through stuff first. So true. Rakdos the Muscle is genuinely the most fun I've ever had at CEDH level. That sounds pretty cool. I think I'm probably running Gruul Atali to be the like constant of the pod, and I'm just gonna fucking slam my shades on and go dinosaur time. I think Z is going to be playing Kefka. There is one of my friends I am genuinely thinking about like having them play Krakashima. I asked them if they had any like early opinions, but one of them has been liking Is It More. The problem with Krakashima is tripping over your own dick every other minute. Glarb is pretty funny, but not exactly easy. I think I have one friend, honestly, I think they might like Glarb just because his moistness. I have a friend that wants to start playing. Which commander would you recommend? I would recommend genuinely, if they have another media they like and there's a Universes Beyond crossover, do that. Like, straight up, whoever they think looks the coolest, that is the best commander for your first commander deck. Yeah, titties. I'm also building Kefka. Kefka is one of my commanders, and I promise we're going to do your roast, Shaper. Kefka is a commander I am personally never playing outside of CEDH. I don't think his power level mandates CEDH, but if I'm playing below CEDH, I'm trying to generally have like kind of a goofy time, and that trigger is never goofy. Like, I cannot think of a pod where this man is not dismantling the vibes. And so I think he's only bracket 4 or above, and personally, if I'm going to play bracket 4, I'd rather play CEDH. And so I will likely have a CEDH deck for Kefka that I bring to like Atlanta and stuff, and I think it'll be a ton of fun at CEDH. But I think this man is only enjoyable if everybody rolled up with a bunch of Geneva suggestions. But I would never do it to a pod below CEDH level. Like, even if you're not flickering him, not doing extra combats, not trigger doubling, this trigger by itself, the man alone, is so backbreaking. This Kefka Asimov. Damn, we didn't have Tamio's journal. That is deeply lost in the Alfredo. Kefka seems like a CEDH 8-rack build would be sick. See, Sugar, that's not even it. Like, the thing about Kefka is you just generate, like, you don't have to build around hand rip. Because he's making it card positive. He's literally just disruption in the command zone, and then you play good Grixis cards. That's just straight up. Like, you slam him at a relatively reasonable speed. Like, you don't have to try to turbo him out turn 1 or 2. But in CEDH, like turn 3, God forbid turn 4, and then you just use him to disrupt the table a little bit, and you're fucking golden. I had someone tell me to juice my PNLR deck to run it in CEDH, and I had to gently tell them they were smoking crack if they thought Boros, Aggro, Thopters had a chance. Yeah, the TikTok stream once again got kicked, but I wish that motherfucker who was talking about how good Mardu is in CEDH was still here. That would be, yeah, that motherfucker would probably believe in PNLR. Okay. Shaper, let's get it going. This is a silly deck. Hey Mauled, continuing with trying to give you aneurysms by having you review my popper nonsense I play in non-popper pods. I bring you the opposite of my Wilson deck. Wilson has a high win rate in my favorite colors. This was my worst deck in my least favorite colors. This deck came to me in a fugue state, fully formed, and I've made it my mission to win one game. Whereas last time my pod caught strays, I'm hoping you'll see this busted Honda Civic of a deck and the piss laser will be aimed squarely at me. Any advice on upgrades would be appreciated within the restriction, and I hope you have a fun time going through what the pores get to play with. P.S. My playgroup had a meeting after the roast and unbanned a lot of stuff. Beautiful. So, Shaper, just to remind me of the restrictions, is it Popper only, or do we have meaningful restrictions on top of Popper? For those of you who don't know, Shaper is a delinquent, so devious, so evil, that they deign to play Popper commander decks in a non-Popper pod to give the people they play with a fighting chance. If death by 1,000 cuts, Arbaz Mir. How is this bad? Hold on. Boros artifacts? Even in Popper, I refuse to believe this doesn't. Okay. So whenever Arbaz Mir, another non-token, historic permanent, not even artifacts, but historic permanent ETBs, deal 1 damage to each opponent, gain 1. Okay. I like that. I like that. Chop it off. Good tag. Okay. Non-creature removal works with the commander. Doesn't work with the commander, but it's exile removal in common. Removal with cycling. Do we see how low the bar is? Generous gift is a common. Hell yeah. Make your move Thraben Charm. Okay. So I have the same feelings about removal. I think the problem here is I want to get on my little soapbox about, well, if it's only in as removal, it should remove a lot of stuff. I don't really know how we go with that in Popper. So we'll look at that later. Deeper cuts. Sack an artifact, 2 to everybody. On artifact spell, put a charge counter, remove 3, get an artifact. Hey baby, reduce, reuse, recycle. Ingenious. Okay, artifact ETB equals damage. Mearsmith. Hey, we making artifacts. Oh, but this only cares. Okay. So I like this less because Arbaz Mir specifies non-token. Mysidian Elder, yes. Black Wizards out of Final Fantasy, incredible heat for this. Brave Robber, thank you for the 5th month in a row with Prime, my friend. I appreciate that generosity. Sunshot I fuck with, Fireweaver I fuck with. Sharps Container. ETB draw card. That's basically fucking Ristic Study for a Popper restriction. Okay, we can sack it. So we have a ton of dog shit. Just a ton. Yeah, Candy Trail. I remember feeling bad when I put this in a draft deck. Brother put this in a commander deck and went, yeah, that'll do it. If you can't tell, I have a jeweler's lens in this hand. Okay, so a bunch of things that say draw me a card are correct. This is correct and good and the direction we should be going. Popper All-Star right here. Hell yeah, give me a basic land. Hell yeah, instant ramen. Hell yeah, Wizards Rockets. White Auracite, also great. Whetstone. So we don't need a ton of ramp. What I am noticing is a tremendous lack of removal. Or, God, not removal. Recursion. So we have to draw into every single artifact we get. And so the thing I'm going to look for is if we have... MLP, have you... This deck is an angry old man on a porch throwing popcorn kernels at nearby skateboarding children. And it's going to hope that at some point, one of the kernels will hit the child in the eye and they will steer into traffic. I think that's how we win right now. Yeah, we play 40 non-token historic permanents. Stone cold. Stone cold. Our win con is I cast 40 non-token historic permanents. So the thing I want to find is return artifact from Graveyard. I'm sure that they have done this type of research. I just have to see it for myself. And then we have to specify Popper. I feel like we could do this. This is also ETB. Do we have any? So I feel like rather than hey, let's cast all of our fucking, let's cast 40 spells, we try to get in on some flicker behavior. I think if we begin flicking the bean, we have a chance at this. There's Mer Retriever, which is like, We do Mine Excavation. God, there's Oltec Archaeologist, which is like... There's also Leonin Squire. So what we can do is we can try to build a package that's like, here are 10 or so ways to recur. Here are 10 or so permanent based ways that, never mind, that's the end. Oh. Okay, so that's death. This is also on ETB. This is on ETB. This is on ETB. This is on ETB. So we have 6 that do it on ETB. Pretty sure Shaper has recursion in there. Where is the... I mean, they have some, but they do not have it in the context that I'm talking about. Which would be, can we pull off a flicker game plan? It's in quick draw, right? But the ones you're doing are either like an instant speed way to do it or a thing that does it on death. I'm trying to think of, can we get up to any business that will let us like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth? Because another way the flicker game plan would work is then we can go like, okay, legendary creatures become better if it's a shitty legendary, and we can do any type of mass flickering. This would set up some type of weird combo turn that I do not... Wow, that's it. Wow, that's really it. Okay. Hot diggity shit. This... The fuck? Oh, I must have gotten rid of the rarity. Yeah, I got rid of the rarity restraint. God damn it. My eyes opened so wide. Yeah, the flicker and popper is very not impressive. Oh god. What legendary creatures can we get? Or actually, can I just... Oh, they don't have... Right, because Historic's not a type line. It's a collection of other type lines. So legendary creature, white, red, and then get the rarity correct. Type shit indeed. We got it. We can do this. Everybody shut the fuck up. Lock in. Everybody lock in right now, okay? I refuse to get channeled. I refuse to get fucking channeled on. Okay. What sagas we got? Show me the money. 5. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. That's quite bad. Okay. No. Everybody lock the fuck in. We can do this. Two with first strike, motherfucker. Okay, no, there's a different way to fix this. There's a different way. There's a different way to save this. Just Bones, I'm looking for a reason to live right now. We're trying to save a Pauper Boros artifact deck. I'm gonna drop the, yeah, sorry about that, Nick. I am very poorly organized. So, currently, our plan, hard cast 40 historic permanents. I don't believe in it. We looked at the flicker plan. It's not happening. We looked at the recursion plan. It's not happening any better than we already have it. The only other thing I can think of is trying to find some type of artifact-based win con. Gabriel, I'm not big on bounce because for bounce it means like bounce I want to avoid us having to cast all of these spells. Bounce might work for some of these, like on the ones that ETB draw a card. Bounce, yeah. But let me look at... Let me look at artifacts you control in Boros. Maybe now I'll be impressed. Legal, Pauper Commander. We can do it. Just hear me out, bro. Shaper. This has won me draft games. Alaren, thank you for the 200-bit cheer. If we can just give it a few dollars and upgrade it from pauper to peasant, it may work. I mean, the thing is, we're working with a rarity restriction for the sake of their enjoyment. But I think if we want this to convert to lethal at any point, we do probably have to try to get creatures that care about artifacts rather than just... Because I do not think we're going to pull off Artifact Storm. And we're at the end of the list. Stats to target creatures. This is a 6/6 with no keywords. But I unironically believe in Adaptive Gem Guard for at least something. Like, this is a historic permanent that will trigger our commander, and we can turn a lot of our terrible, terrible cards into one useful creature. Equal to the number of artifacts. Please, one time. Well, we have a way to lose the game on our own terms, I guess. Boy. What about those creatures that make golems? Maybe? Does the commander count itself? That could be our flicker target. The commander does count itself. So we could go for... So we could go for like Commander Flicker. This would actually be a point where if we can get any... If we can get any damage doublers or modifiers, which I doubt we got in Pauper, but if we can get even like one of them, we're working with such trash. Nope. Excellent. Excellent. Yeah, and let's remind everybody, nobody's making Shaper do this but Shaper. This is... They're not being forced to at gunpoint by their playgroup. This is not like the Wilson incident where the deck wins a lot. This is, they know they're attempting to drag this cart of plague-ridden donkeys across the fucking finish line, and it's not happening. And they've come here. Let's see Razor Boomerang. So Razor Boomerang, I don't believe in because it's 5 mana and tap to complete the cycle. We could Ephemerate. I could see Molten Gatekeeper working if we are mostly snipping the commander. Okay, so we have 19 cards. We have Acrobatic Remover. This doesn't actually do what we want, but we have Cloud Shift, we have Ephemerate, Flicker of Fate. This just flickers itself. Icewind Stalwart. Justicars. So I think we would genuinely be better off if we got rid of the ones that or if we kept only the ones that drew on ETB. If we kept just the stuff that drew on ETB, and we replaced all the ones that did not draw on ETB with things that flickered, or these creatures we found that recurred stuff when they entered, and then we also had Molten Gatekeeper, you may be able to make it work better just by flickering Arbaz Mir. Having a bunch of flicker in your deck, I think, would also help you live a little bit longer, because then you can declare Arbaz Mir as a blocker. Boom, Cloud Shift, leave me the fuck alone. So it helps you put up chump blockers a little bit better if you can flicker them away. I think the spell bombs we can keep, but I'm also like Conjurer's Bauble, I would rather keep like Elsewhere Flask over Conjurer's Bauble. And then we just flicker Elsewhere Flask or flicker Arbaz Mir. Or if we had any, or just use them as like, use the artifacts as tap fuel. I believe Reckless Fireweaver's already in here, is the thing. Yeah, they're already up in here. What if we leaned into the burn side? Flame Rift is going to deal more damage than 3 artifacts. That's both true, and I don't think it's going to scratch, because this is for sure a pet deck. This is, we are under 18 miles of Alfredo. And so the deck would improve if we just cast things that dealt direct damage. Because this is 2 mana. I have played the equivalent of 4 historic permanents. But that is on Shaper's Brainstem and whether it causes the monkey in control of his dopamine to clap because of it. personally, I think this is about I kill you with trinkets. And if we're trying to kill with trinkets, cards that deal damage by sacrificing artifacts. Let's look. Let's see if there's any heat for us here. This one, which is quite bad. Just discover 5. Carrot cake is at this point a non-zero flicker target because it makes us a body. We already have Embrawl Gear Smasher, which is the other example of this. That is true that Carrot Cake doesn't draw. I think it would have to be, and this is in the version of the deck that's going much more towards Flicker. This would be like one of the only things that doesn't draw that you kept in the deck, and you just take the Scry as a bonus, and you're like, chump blocker, chump blocker, chump blocker. If you're getting eaten alive by Tramplers, then I wouldn't play, period. Hellcat, I think they're probably just not Pauper Commander legal. Ancestral statue looping. Yeah, we could try to do this with a lot of 0 mana artifacts. Yeah, I think there's something we can do with Ancestral Statue. Especially if we are flickering the statue, because then every flicker becomes, we get an ETB from the statue, we bounce a 0 mana artifact or a 1 mana art. I mean, it can bounce itself, but until our artifacts cost 0, that's not good for us. If we can reliably get to 4 mana cost reduction, then it works. And that is also like, that becomes kind of weird where the deck is this incredibly bad, silly pet deck. Here's my infinite die. So I don't like that for other reasons. I do like it for, here is my key flicker piece, and I use it to like double dip on every piece of flicker. I think Dog Sauce is onto something with flickering Mesmeric Orb. Thank you, Dog Sauce. But I don't like, what if the deck was crazy dog shit and then I had an infinite? There are 2 cost reductions. Do they add up to 4? As long as it's not adding up to, this is deterministically infinite, I think that's probably usable. But regardless, I would use this for the bounce, and then that at least makes it, no, they add up to 2. Then I think that's probably fine. This being I always have a 2 mana ping in hand is like some of the most fair shit you can possibly do. But I would regardless have flicker in here, and then I would be flickering my commander, or I would be flickering cards that recur draw pieces, or flickering draw artifacts themselves. There's too many in here, and they're too goddamn bad for me to be like, oh, easily these are the ones you get rid of. There are some that I know are quite good for draw, like Ichor Wellspring, even if we don't have a super clear way to sacrifice it. But otherwise, goddamn, we have the Tron lands. We're using Tron lands to cast instant ramen. You are a fucking demon sent to torment me. Shadow Walker, thank you for the 100-bit cheer. Mauled makeshift munitions. Lets you sack artifacts for damage. Yeah, I think this would be fine. I think this could fit in somehow to the Flicker game plan. I love you too, Brian. Thank you for coming through. It is incredibly little damage, but this is mostly for we would cut the artifacts that self-sack, and we would use this as a way to get artifacts into the graveyard to utilize our ETB artifact recurring shitheads. But even that, god, that's so deep in the fucking Alfredo. So I'm not even confident on that. The only thing I'm confident on is try some flickering. And when you try flickering, try that one, the ancestral statue, and see if we can use that to get some kind of engine going. I mean, I wouldn't even be running makeshift munitions as player damage, Shaper. I would be using that as creature control. Because what's going to happen in this deck is you get outvalued by everybody over the course of the game. Makeshift munitions to me says, I turn this board of terrible 1-mana artifacts into your value engine being dead. This is a gun with Esper Sentinel's name on it. It is a gun with like, oh, you have Tatiova. I tap out and I sack my board to kill your Tatiova because I cannot survive you having a good value engine on field. We're on non-token Raw, so I don't believe in Thraven and not. Yeah, like you shoot mana dorks with this thing. This is the canon of nobody else gets to play good creatures either. Bone, I just don't think we have to worry about Elixir of Immortality. Shadow Walker, thank you for the 100-bit cheer. Pendragon Strongbowl. No, I think this is worse. Like the ability, I don't think the ability we're missing. Like you could play this anyway over a shitty artifact, but makeshift munitions is good because it gives us another source and a repeatable source of being able to deal with other people having good creatures, which we can deal with like 2 times, maybe 3. We cannot deal with people having good value engines right now. So you are, we have to move Cannon over. This isn't even YouTube short behavior, but we're working towards such a bad dream. Where would I... You are somewhere, Shaper. I at least this time, this isn't jail. I at least believe in the dream. I just think this is the point at which a rarity restriction is preventing you from doing interesting things rather than forcing you to. I will, of course, not demand that you drop it, but this is the type of thing I'm thinking about where we go, is restriction breeding creativity, or is restriction forcing us to throw bottle caps at people? And so that displeases me, but I hope this has helped a little bit, and I hope that you have exhaled through your nose. Let's see, are there any... That's so bad. Mounts, we're on mounts and vehicles. Hey, it says draw a card. Panic Spellbomb. That's what's been going off in my head the entire fucking review. Hell yeah, spare supplies. All-time heater. It is definitely much more interesting than Boros equipment. We have Lembas already. Boss man, the swords have color words. Can I run them? I think it will be antithetical to... God, that's actually... That is a compelling question worth asking, because it does matter for your whole, like, I'm playing around with domain and color types, and I have a bunch of stuff where I'll be like, oh, my thing has pro blue, pro green. I'm going to make your spell green. I think those are some of the strongest cards that you can almost justify running. The only problem with them is they're like, if you get them and you go, here's my commander, here's Sword of Feast and Famine in a bracket 1 deck, straight to prison. So that's a... Yeah. But Shaper, that's going to be it for this deck. We're going to hit a manual ad break, and then BM Shooter. Prepare yourself. Garrett, the decks have been good today. I hope your day is going well, my friend. Nettle drone in here, Mauled. I'll look at that while the ad break goes through. Oh shit. Crazy heat, actually. Jello Sloth with the 11th hour save. Shaper, I demand that you place Nettle Drone into the fucking deck. Let me give red with... We are out of the roasting section. I just want to look at non-creature. That's 4 mana. I forgot to hit Popper. Genuinely, this might be the thing to do. Like, Blister Split, much worse, but that's at common, so that's fine. Like, Coruscation Mage we can't get. I have to go back and hit the rarity restriction. Yeah, Kessig Flame Breather, because like the way that... Oh, and Firebrand, like the way that we're currently going, we are basically all in on non-creature spells. So maybe you don't do the creature flicker plan, and we just do stuff like Sawblade Scamp, every copy of thing that says on cast non-creature I burn you. Then it becomes a little bit too normal almost, but it does start working. Because this will pop off very quickly. As soon as you get a second or a third, as soon as you're like, hey, I cast a spell bomb, everybody take 3, people will start sweating. That makes my brainstem happy? Then yeah, we go all in on burn. Fuck the flicker plan. It's burn. It's burn, baby, burn. And then we just untap our shit with all of those bad artifacts. Oh god, but this is such a good flicker target. But what if we flickered this man 18 times? Okay, I risk turning into elk. I'm gonna turn into straight elk if I keep talking that way. Okay. Ad breaks out. Shooter's here. This is a spooky, scary deck. Oh no. Tony Stark is a billionaire, a playboy, and a philanthropist. He also spends more time shuffling his deck than actually playing Magic. The deck wants to tutor out individual pieces to protect Iron Man, then assemble combos to end the game. There are multiple ways to close it out: beating people to death with the Iron Legion, assembling the Infinity Gauntlet, or becoming an Avengers level threat. Herein lies the problem. My play group complains I spend too much time shuffling instead of playing the game. There isn't much removal due to the ability to tutor for it, or to things that draw many cards. The deck feels a bit slow off the start, although in some hands it feels like I'm going 0 to 60 in 2 seconds. Okay. Before I reveal this to Twitch chat and they get very mad at you, this sounds like we are operating in bracket 4 or at least high bracket 3. We're trying to do very good things in Is It, but we love Iron Man. And so the things we're doing are going to be these ladder artifact combos rather than traditional Is It. I make infinite mana, I make infinite spells, you take infinite damage, your balls explode infinitely. AC/DC starts playing. Honestly, one of the cleanest titles I've seen. Honestly. Patty, thank you for the Twitch follow. Welcome to the doghouse, my friend. I'm so glad I prepped us. I would have had gastric reflux if I did not walk into this accepting that you did not deserve to see the sun. Okay, so we can, with enough mana rocks, control each player's turn infinitely. Yeah. Avengers level threats. I presume with Ugin's Nexus and Esoteric Duplicator, we can also do something here. And Karn is... I'm sure we have the thing to turn lands into artifacts so that Karn just says, actually, you fucking die. Oh, Karn lets you get it from exile. Right, okay. Then we take a bunch of extra turns. I can run colorless lands because artifacts go burr. I do need some color, I guess. I can't tell if this is my favorite card or least favorite. I think it's my favorite. This is so dumb. In an artifact combo deck. Oh, yeah. Oh, bro. I think what makes this card good is you have to stalwartly pretend that it matters in a combo. I think that is the bit that I can accept from this card, is like 18 different Is It combos in a trench coat, and then Xanthic fucking statue, and you have to stone face, much like the art, and go, oh yeah, bro. Do you not know? Do you not know the Xanthic statue line, brother? Oh, let me show you. And then you flip it into like Portal to Phyrexia or something. This is just because you bought the secret lair. Same for this one. You're in blue, sure. Alright, make money. Artificer class is crazy work, brother. So is this. Somebody bought all the pretty cards and was like, how do I use all my pretty cards? Alright, actual best card in your deck. Making weapons of map. We just playing around now. We are just playing the fuck around now. Then we have the One Ring. Yep, there's the fucking Ristic Study. Yeah, so we are deep in... It's deep bracket 4. It's CEDH, but I have pet cards. And my pet cards are all of the other Universes Beyond things that I dropped a lot of money on. Commander's Plate is probably useful. Mithril Coat is almost certainly useful. Overclocking. Wrong, I think. Pepper Pots, that's cute. I like that one. That's adorable. Okay, so Tomb Trawler is just here to put sacrificed combo pieces back into the deck to be retutored. Then we have the Iron Legion. Sure, that can win. Shooter, frankly, I get where your playgroup is coming from. I don't doubt that this deck can win eventually, but this looks a lot more like an Is It Player's Pornhub search history than an actual combo deck. We've got so much cuteness in here. We have got a lot of cuteness in here, and that cuteness will eventually get us somewhere. But yeah, we have to shuffle 18 fucking million times because every combo is like 5 pieces and 6 Iron Man activations. I don't know if what you need is a deck roast or if you need a class on comedic improv, because that's really the only way you can save a deck like this. Maybe there's a way to make the combos tighter. I doubt there's a way to make the combos tighter and still make them fit perfectly into the puns that you have made, and I'm very big on the puns you have made. The puns are that one soldier kneeling in front of the baby, and the knives and grenades are me hurtling insults at you. But I can definitely see how this is going to, you're going to be running up the shot clock or running down the shot clock like a motherfucker. So how do we save you from that with this commander, which we definitely fucking don't? Like, do we even get good hands? Oh, mirror, come on. Be for real. So we play a tapped land turn 1. We play this, we can use it to Mechanaut to cost reduce artifacts. Brilliant. We can do this to Battlethopter. We hold up 1, but holding up 1 isn't going to matter. We can do this. He's an artifact, right? Okay. Boom. We get him. We make treasure, presumably sack treasure. Do we have winged boots? No. What the fuck are our 1 mana hits? Or would I turn, what could I turn Liberator into? I think I have to duplicate this list so I can look at what I might tutor for independent. I could tutor for Unwinding Clock, which feels like a weird play when it would be my only artifact. That would just be like, hey everybody, please shoot me. Please shoot me now. I could get Crystal Skull. Or, actually, no, I turn a treasure into Soul Ring. And I tell everybody to go fuck themselves. Next turn, dog. Really? The reference? This is the reference we're going for? No wonder they hate you. No wonder. I would too. Alright. This is like... I am just aghast at so many. Goes crazy with Unwinding Clock. Yeah, once you have like 5 mana rocks, you insane motherfucker. How many turns do you get to take? Like, it goes insane with Unwinding Clock if we also have Soul Ring, and we also, because we have to get to 4 mana to tap this thing for a fate counter. So we're talking about a world in which we have Soul Ring. Do we have Thrawn Dynamo. So if we get Soul Ring and Gilded Lotus, or Chromatic Orrery, or Soul Ring, and then 2 other mana rocks, then we can use all of that tempo for an entire turn cycle to execute like a 20 mana one-sided board wipe. It is an amazing flavor, W. Like, the flavor is there. There's like little sprinklings of cat shit on top, but the flavor is definitely there. But I would not... calling this goes crazy with is a huge fucking stretch. You gotta warm up before saying that, bro. And really, like, some of the best stuff we have to do is just... Okay, Mirror Box. And I'm going to turn Mirror Box into... presumably Unwinding Clock. Yeah, I'm going to turn this into Unwinding Clock just to have. And then I also have a treasure. It's almost as good as the One Ring. So fucking true. And then you know what? Next turn, I'm going to play this and I'm going to turn it into the One Ring because that's so much goddamn better than whatever Oblivion Stone is doing. Yeah, Badgers, I'm almost inclined to agree. I think we have some flavor wins. My distaste with the flavor wins is that it leaves us in a weird limbo. It leaves us in the space of power that is least defined by the bracket system, which is we're definitely comboing off. We're definitely in bracket 3. It's turn 6, and I've obviously been playing this for silly. I do not think that we had a win that I just breezed by. I will accept that there might have been because there's a lot of we're doing Cirque du Soleil shit on these combo lines, so I might have missed something. But even assuming like no interaction, because we have no fucking counterspells in hand, we have like 2 in the entire deck. Fits in well with other decks in the pod. Did you not come here telling me that you were brought up on military tribunal for spending 3 hours shuffling? Because that is the thing we could solve with, like, how do we make combos tighter? Or we have to buy you an auto shuffling device. Are your hands big enough to shuffle? Could we print you custom magic cards that were slightly smaller? Because like Z has tiny hands, so it's tough to shuffle a 100-card deck. Maybe that's what we could do. God, what? This is just so crazy to me. Okay, Esoteric Duplicator, that's something. Urza, that's something. Fuck it. I'm gonna keep this. Oh god, we got Soul Ring, so now we just win, I think? Yeah, never mind. I play fucking Soul Ring, Rhystic Study. I would like to politely request to win the game. I do have small hands and the deck is double sleeved. Yeah, we need an intervention about your spending habits and not about the actual play pattern of the deck. Well, Badgers, I think the issue there is all of the combos we want to execute are incredibly convoluted. I don't think we have any of the, like... We have taken everything that is typically a backup combo for Is It and gone, that's my dad, or that's my son, and I love them very much. But we can also just go, okay, I play Sol Ring, Rhystic Study, I draw a bunch of cards, Urza. Good luck, dipshits. Which is the problem with, this is why I say we're in a weird no man's land. Where the previous playtest, we were doing some kind of fucky shit with Iron Man, and this playtest, the Iron Man aspect of the deck could not matter less. It is just the fucking Urza show right now. As long as we're fitting in with the pod, that's fine. What do I get for free? Brother, ugh. This has to be in here because there must be a critical lack of 5 mana artifacts. How many differently named tokens do we need? We need 3 differently named tokens. Okay, so Conjurer's Closet wouldn't do anything. We already have Gilded Lotus. I also don't know what the fuck Forsaken Monument is in here. Like the... I respect that we can go get Academy Manufacturer, but that's one of those types of loops where it's never our first choice, and so at that point shouldn't really be our choice ever in a deck where we get to tutor whatever we want. Like, this seems like a lot of the things that would make the deck succinct, like that would prevent you from having to spend 18 years shuffling, is picking hits that would just do the thing rather than hits that will do the thing if combined with a million other things. Like having Transmutation Font, and I dare say having Forsaken Monument as hits, those are ladders to nowhere. Like, we're trying to take up time at that point versus we have Urza in the deck. Where this? And I know where this is. This is in the stink zone in your mind. But I am telling you, if we ever want this deck to demand less time, this deck is bracket 4. Edemi is the thing. If we ever want this deck to demand less time, this is the door that is currently closed that we have to open. You have a lot of things in here where their only job is to give you more game actions to take, rather than, I tutor for this thing, you're all fucked, I'm the winner, eat shit. And then you do the Tony Stark pose. And then AC/DC starts playing as they untap 1 land and pass their turn. So that is, I think, the heart of the shuffling issue. Like, we have Oblivion Stone, which is terrible dog shit unless you have Unwinding Clock and a bunch of mana rocks. And instead of going, what if I played something better, you went, well, if I shuffle 3 more times, I can have Unwinding Clock and a bunch of mana rocks. Which is not incorrect intellectually, it only is morally. And so this may be more of a pod discussion than anything else, but looking at Urza artifacts stacks lists and pulling some options out of there, those are going to give you cleaner ladders for, I am turning treasures into stacks pieces into combo pieces. Like, I am eventually going to combo off by flipping a stacks piece into a combo piece. Then the stacks is gone on my turn. I do infinite whatevers, they die. Your pod may not be emotionally ready for that, so talk about it with them. But the options are either this deck takes 2 hours to play Magic, or I touch you with the ball. Red pill or blue pill. This is their matrix. You either get touched with the orb, or the Is It player takes 90 minutes to finish the game. So I think, I mean, funnily enough, for what you're trying to do, I kind of like it. Like, I think that we have a lot of our end the game combos are relatively on theme. I think that this deck would be infinitely more fun on digital. Obviously, it's on paper because this deck was built as an ode to all of those secret layers that I bought. But I think most of the problems that this deck has in paper just don't exist with a computer doing stuff for you. And I genuinely don't know if I would just get the typical Iron Man combos, because I think the point of the deck is... I mean, this is not a fucking Infinity Gauntlet. Actually, okay, now I'm kind of rearranging my thoughts, because... we don't even have a single hand in this art. But I do think the point right now is to try to get these flavorful combos. I question how accurately we have named our combos, though. And so you may want to look at other Iron Man combos and see if there's anything that's more on theme. Where was this one? Like the Iron Legion, yes. The Iron Legion, yes. That is an Iron Man thing. That is a thing this deck is doing. For the Infinity Gauntlet, this does not really involve stones or a glove or a large purple man. And so this is just kind of, I took 3 cards and I set a movie reference, and therefore it's a theme. But this is, I think, one of the, like... I was gonna call it a tighter combo because it's only 3 cards, but it's not really 3 cards. It's these 3 cards plus I need enough mana rocks to float 6 mana every turn. I don't know what the fuck the Extremis virus is, so I'm going to trust you. So yeah, I sentence you to homework, basically. Like, we either need to get some better combos up in this bitch, or we need to get some stacks up in this bitch so that your tutor lines can be less convoluted. Because even as Is It players go, you are high on your own supply. But I like the energy. As long as we're at an appropriate table for it, which it sounds like we are. So Shooter, thank you for the submission. That's going to be it for today. We're going to go raid out. We'll be live again Friday. We're going to be doing either Magic the Gathering Arena or Darkest Dungeon. We'll find out when I go live. But thank you all for being here. Let's see which of the homies are live. We're going to raid Beeps, because it's been a minute since we raided Beeps. Hit them with the indestructible Justin rant, please, and thank you. You can access that with the command !Voltron. I appreciate all of your support, whether it's financial or not. Thank you for following. Thank you for subbing. Thank you for cheering. Thank you for watching. I will see you all Friday. I hope you're having a good week, and please remember to stay toxic. Dale, I'm glad you enjoyed. Thank you all for being here.